Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Ears to the East, where today we are going to be kind of talking. Well, it's basically Christmas. I think just shortly, sometime around about during this conversation, it's going to turn Christmas in Japan. For you guys over there, it's going to be Christmas by the time this video has probably gone out. And of course, on top of that as well, we're sort of ramping up to the end of the year.
Merry
So
Christmas.
just like last year, yeah, Merry Christmas, sorry. Or whenever you're watching this, happy Thursday. So whenever you're watching this, yeah, we basically thought let's have a little bit of a chance to do our end of year retrospective. We did this last year where we really talk about the year that was 2024. Just a little reminder, first Sunday of next year is when I have my little awards thing. End of year awards.
Yeah,
But
I got my own
gonna...
awards as well. I got the Neon Awards debuting this year. So it's going to be small. It's going to be a lot smaller than the Howard's Awards. So we're just testing.
Came out of nowhere, didn't it?
So yeah. So we're like the opening act for the Howard Awards.
Oh, bless you. The one that people actually watch. It's what when Baby Metal opened for like some general emo band. Everyone's like,
or in Trick's best words, the Neon Awards are the BAFTAs to the Howard Award Oscars.
I read that. I was like, I don't know what that means. Is that I thought the BAFTAs were the ones that people actually liked, and wasn't like is the Oscars is the one that everyone thinks is a pretentious old load of dog shit.
Well, to be fair, I think everybody hates the BAFTAs and the Oscars, but the Oscars are where like the the stars are, the movie stars, and the BAFTAs is like all the TV people that can't quite make it as movie stars. So.
Okay. So basically, he was just insulting us both, is what you're really saying. That's what...
Well, he was just insulting me. It was quite nice to you.
Oh no, he just get well. I mean, look, maybe I can get Will Smith to come to my house and like slap someone.
We'll invite him on.
Who's going to slap who on my award show? I got to work that out anyway. Well, there's been a lot of music this year, and obviously a lot of this will be covering in our individual awards. But today it's more a case we're just going to sort of like generally give our opinions on a few things. And if I was to start this anywhere, I'd have to say 2024 undoubtedly was the year of the collab. I think we knew that going in.
Yes.
We had so many announcements of collabs going in. I remember when I was at the Band-Maid show, 10th anniversary, end of 2023. Yeah, flexing again. I remember that they like had that announcement. It was like collaboration to be coming up. Obviously, we knew that BABYMETAL were on the train for collaborations. We didn't know how many. The Anno and Leilas thing, I can't remember if we knew that at the beginning of the year, but that was starting to show its head. There's been a lot of collabs.
There has. I mean, we've got Band-Maid, Warning, BABYMETAL with fucking everybody. Ado as well with Imagine Dragons that came out of nowhere. That's a great song, by the way. I think Imagine Dragons coming off the back of like Arcane and all that. The height of their powers at the minute, and then to collab with Ado, who's probably arguably Japan's hottest thing right now as well. That's just a marketing move made in heaven, isn't it?
Yeah, that was one of those ones where I was kind of like that. That was one of those reactions where I think one of those collabs where my reaction was kind of like that happened. You know, I mean, like I think it was back. I remember. I think I was in the Philippines. I think it might have been 2017, and it was sometime around then. Do you remember I was in the Philippines at one point for like a trip, and that was like when Imagine Dragons, for me, felt like they were at the top of their powers. They had like a bunch of songs out that were like massive hits right then. And then I kind of like since then I've really lost touch with the West, so I don't really know what happened to bands like Imagine Dragons. But then when I heard about they got a song with Ado, and I checked it out, and Ado was being very Ado, and Imagine Dragons were being kind of very Imagine Dragons, but a little bit more. Both of them kind of in their most watered down state. I was like, okay, this just kind of sounds like what I'd expect. So I kind of all went, okay, that happened. And so I feel very neutral about this. So I don't feel particularly good or bad. So that happened.
I enjoyed it for what it is, to be fair. I thought it was a decent collab. I like that we got the kind of crazy, frantic Ado instead of like the more popish Ado. Like I always like Ado when she's at her like kind of like she's got craziness, like manic, crazy ex-girlfriend kind of vibe. And like I always enjoy that. So like
That's
she
actually.
put
See, imagine if you went out with her, she'd probably write a song with you immediately after the
oh
breakup.
should Taylor Swift the shit out of me.
He left all his hats all over the place. Yeah, I mean, like with Ada, I think anyway, kind of similarly to Imagine Dragons, I think kind of like my interest maybe peaked and dropped off quite a while ago because with Ada, it was like one of those things where I think she's probably one of the most interesting and talented singers, but for me, it was just like I felt like she. You said about the more poppy Ada versus the more frantic Ada. I feel like she's frantic on every song. I can't remember what the name of the song was. She did with a fairly famous producer from Japan this year. And it was like a party song, and she sounds like she's really intense. I'm like, bro, what's going on here? And so, I think for me, Ado is like always intense all the time. Which is
correct me if I'm wrong. The Ado One Piece album came out this year, right? 2024, beginning of 2024.
I've kind of started to lose track a little bit on the Ado stuff. I kind of like I check in occasionally to see what she's doing, but I'm not quite following it so intensely.
So if it was this year, that album is amazing. By the way, the One Piece stuff that she did was incredible. I can't remember.
I'm assuming that's for Japanese One Piece. It's not for like the Netflix series. Is it?
No, I think it was for a bit of both. I think no, it was really? They did there was a Netflix One Piece, but there was a One Piece movie as well, I believe that was in Japan, and I think she did the like the main theme song for it, but she did like a whole album for it. It was incredible.
Super intense One Piece.
Super intense One Piece. Yeah, and then look at the other collabs we got. We had The Warning and Band-Maid, which is kind of a bit of the obvious one, I feel like this one was like the worst kept secret, wasn't it? Like we knew this one was like months in advance. I think even we did a video calling it like 6 months before it got announced. We were like, yeah, it's gonna be.
Do you know what? I think everyone had been. I can't remember the exact chronology, but everyone had been talking about it forever. And then when they said, "Oh, we're doing collaborations with overseas artists," like, well, that's obviously The Warning.
Yeah.
But the funny thing is, there was even the thing when they announced that they were going to do that show together in Tokyo, and I put out that video on my main channel talking about, oh, this is what I think is going to happen if they create a song, and I was like, they're going to create a song, and there's so many people. Even then, it's like they're not going to create a song. No, it's just the show. They're not going. So many people. I need to find all those comments and personally write to each one of them. Fucking told you so.
The comments are going to be flashing on the screen right now. Like, oh,
I'm not petty. But yeah, no, there was a lot of people who actually, that's kind of a nice thing though, because I think in a way, even though it was kind of obviously signposted, I think there was a lot of people who didn't feel like we were actually going to get a song. So I think, and then to get a music video as well was really cool. Even I was like 50-50. I was like, well, look, if they're doing a song, surely they're going to do a music video. But even I wasn't 100% sure on that one. I was like, maybe like 75% sure. So I was really happy when we got a video and everything.
I mean, to be fair, for me, like, what was your feelings on that collab? Like, for me, it was probably the most underwhelming one of the year for me personally. Like, for one that had so much potential between two bands I personally like, I just felt that collab didn't really do justice to either. I was really weirded out that appeared on the Band-Maid album as well, the new one. I was kind of like, really? All right, okay.
I think, I wasn't sure it was going to appear on the album a lot because, but I kind of like, I got the feeling they'd been releasing such a weird, like we had the way Protect You appeared was really through that anime, and that one got signposted so far in advance because of the anime giving a clip in their trailer. Then we had like the Bestie, but then we also had normal songs like Shambles, which were non-collabs. I was like, oh, are we going to get like an EP of collabs, an EP of non-collabs? And we were all like trying to work out what it's going to be, but there was clearly just this massive work coming together. So I guess the idea of it all basically turning into one big album was a fairly realistic possibility. It's just like all of the songs were appearing in such different ways. It wasn't just your normal line of singles. But when it comes to show them, it's funny because in a way I was actually going to make the crossover from the point you made about the Ado Imagine Dragons song, in that I wouldn't be surprised if a lot of people maybe gave a similar response to the one I did about that, which is it's like, there's nothing wrong with it. It's kind of both the bands and they're them and they're doing their thing. When it comes to show them, I personally thought, considering the ways it could have gone, it was on the positive side. I think that we got to hear a little bit of what makes both bands good. You know, Band-Maid had a bit of nuance. The Warning had a little bit of their flair for like catchy choruses. Yeah, it wasn't anyone's best song, but they didn't have like a huge amount of time, I think, to work on it. And so, given that fact, I think they did something that was safe but fun. You know, you listen to it, it's fun. I think the only reason why people think it's not better is because obviously there's some people who have high expectations. I mean, I think it's a fairly well known fact. I'm not the biggest Warning fan, but I do know what I like about them, even though they're not really my thing. And I felt they brought some of that. And Band-Maid weren't exactly, it wasn't their greatest song, but they brought some of that. And it was a nice little song. It was a single. It was what you want from a single.
Were you expecting more collabs from them? Because the announcement made it seem like we're collabing with Western artists, and I was thinking, oh, we might get like at least maybe two, maybe pushing it 3 songs here with different artists. And we
did get
The Warning.
2, but like, oh no. Well, we got Bestie, but the problem is that Bestie was not what we were thinking when we said collab. When we thought collab, we thought like collab like Show Them. Bestie was a writing collab where dude didn't even play anything on the song or didn't sing anything, which is fair enough.
Shit,
I mean, it's fine.
I forget about that all the time because
Incubus dude, yeah.
Incubus dude, yeah.
I mean, look, again, is it a bad song? No. Is it my least favorite song of the album? Yes. You know, it's like that. It's kind of like it's like it's there for me. It feels like a bit of a filler track. Babe, we haven't been very nice about anything so far, have we? But the funny thing is, Epic Narratives is basically like my second favorite Band-Maid album. I really love that album.
Really?
But yeah, like you said, actually, the funny thing is that I think we were all expecting more collabs from the way the announcement was made, but all their stuff was coming about in such a strange way. You know, it was all like all those singles were cropping up in the weirdest possible way. But then again, talking of that kind of thing, what was your feeling? Because I know that like probably one of your collabs of the year was very recently was the Bloodywood BABYMETAL one. I know that one was like that because you herald that as possibly your best BABYMETAL collab yet.
Yeah, I freaking loved it. I mean, it definitely pushes Electric Callboy and BABYMETAL's Ratatata really close, I think. I mean, it's which one's my favorite depends on which side of the bed I wake up in the morning. I'm like, 1 minute it's that, 1 minute it's this one, 1 minute it's this one. I just feel like it was a really good fucking collab, to be honest. They nailed it, BABYMETAL this year, like with both bands. But I've always had a bit of a soft spot for Bloodywood. I was reacting to Bloodywood when they were still a 2-piece band before they introduced the bald rapper dude. So like I've been reacting.
That's a description. Bald rapper dude.
Bald rapper dude. Right. But yeah, I was just really impressed with this one. I like that it's inherently Bloodywood. They don't mix up I mean, there's always this thing with a collab, isn't it? Like, this is a debate that we can get into. If you're going to do a collab, you can do it. Do you make it special, or do you just like fundamentally stay the same? And I always say, and I said this in my reaction, I always feel like there's 2 different types of collabs. You've got a band X band, which means both bands have worked on the song, or you get a band featuring band, which to me means one band is
instead of a collab,
a featurette instead of a collab. So it sounded like a Bloodywood song, but with BABYMETAL in it. And when the girls come in, I just feel like it was a little bit of an event. I enjoyed it just because of the way the music video was animated. I enjoyed it that we got BABYMETAL singing in a different language that we never heard of before, coming in animated as well, which was amazing. People have been crying out for that for years. And also they were on a good portion of the song as well. It says feature in, but they were on it for at least a good like 2/3 of that.
I like that you're countering pretty much everything I said in the video we did about that song. This is like a low key part 2. You're fried in here.
I'm easy to please, and apparently I'm like a cheap night out, man. Just get me a cheeseburger from Mackey's, and you know I'm solved. I'm your bitch.
We're gonna have fun when you arrive here. Yeah.
I know, right?
I must say though, like I think Baby Metal's penchant for collabs has been really fun. I mean, the Bloody one. I don't actually. Again, I don't dislike it. That was another one where I was kind of neutral on it. Ratata, ratata, whatever. How many guitars there are? I actually. I felt that was one of those ones where that was carried very much by the charm. I mean, as a song, it's good fun, but it's like it's one of those kind of songs where it doesn't really, you're not going to get a huge amount from re-listening to it over and over again. It's a pretty one-trick pony, but it's fun. It's really fun. And so for me, like sometimes if I just need something fun and uplifting, you put that on, and it's really nice. And so for me, that song was lovely because we've been asking for fun baby metal to come back for so many years, and for me, Ratatata, whatever you think about it as music, it definitely encapsulated that fun baby metal.
I feel that's a fair point. Like I didn't even think about it. I haven't even talked about that before, but you hit the nail on the head there. We've had obviously like Metal Galaxy being a little bit more like somewhere serious. The other one as well, kind of going more serious. Yeah, you're right. Ratatata really kind of feels a bit like early.
When you said the other one, I was thinking the other one like as a sentence, but I was like, no, that's actually what the album's called. The other one.
The other one.
Metal Galaxy and the other one.
And the other one. Yeah, they've done that on purpose. But yeah, like I completely agree. Having like fun bit metal, having Momo as well in there, who's like, plays off Moa so well, like this cutesy like smiles and stuff like that. And I think that brings the best out of Sue as well. You could see that Sue is having fun, and I feel like that's a nice thing. We've seen stoic, serious Sue for quite a while now. It's nice seeing her have some smiles and some laughs and really having a good time as well. And it's just good. It's just good to see baby metal in music videos as well. I'm so sick of lyric videos.
I will mention one more though, which is that for me it kicked off with well, obviously we had Metali, which I think was a real kickoff. But I mean, when it comes to this year, I think that the F Hero Body Slam,
that was a great one as well.
I know a lot of people maybe have like considered that more mid than me. For me, I think that remains fairly safely my favorite of all the collabs thus far. I really love Metally, but definitely of the ones this year, I absolutely love that. I know some people are not a big fan. Well, the funny thing, I was actually having a conversation with someone in my community today, one of my mods, who's like he's a real muso as well, and he's probably listened to more music than me actually, which is kind of amazing. But like, so we were having a conversation about this, and we were kind of saying, I mean, Babe Metal aside, if you listen to F Hero's solos, and I really like F Hero and Papaya as well. I love him in that, which a lot of people disagree with. But if you listen to F Hero's solo stuff, I'm not really a fan of it. If you listen to Body Slam's solo stuff, I've heard some of it. It's like it's good. It's just not really for me. But then you put them together, and it's something about the way that collaboration was structured. Everyone felt like they got a fair crack of the whip, especially F Hero, whose song it is. He really he balanced it out beautifully. I felt everyone got a good crack of the whip. Everyone got a good part. Everyone complimented each other. It felt like that kind of collab where not only are there three like entities involved, but they all got the most out of each other. They all felt elevated by the presence of each other. Body Slam having the octave difference to Baby Metal, If Hero dropping rap into a song where instead of like just rap, he can like kind of more raw and be like the hype man behind the song. There was only one band who were basically the band, the ones with the instruments, which means there wasn't all these conflicting attempts for everyone like, oh, we're gonna have 15 solos now. It felt like a tight song, but with so many complementary things in there. I really thought that song was like just collab 101.
It definitely doesn't get as much attention as it probably deserves to, probably like I said, Ratata and Bake Off. Gonna call it Bake Off now. Ever since someone said Bake Off, that's it. It's done. But yeah, it definitely doesn't get as much attention as those two. I think time as well plays a part in it because it was a bit earlier in the year. I think it's people tend to forget how good it is, I think. I must be honest, out of the 4 collabs this year, Metally was my least favorite. I think
Metally was last year.
Was Metally last year?
I think it was last year. Yeah, I love Metally, but I think it's a very different beast altogether. Just because we're coming to halfway through this video, and I want to switch to a couple of things. I will just quickly point out though, like we can do a 2-parter if you have time, but I know you want to go.
Yeah, it might actually be a 2-parter because we're chatting. We haven't even like started yet, really.
Well, I was going to say I did want to. I know it's not something that as many people are into, but I wanted to bring up the Anno Leilas one as well because the Anno Leilas collab for me was it's not one that is to everyone's style, but having Anna-chan is like currently, is she the most popular person in Japan? No, but she's definitely a big thing here right now. And I feel like she's done this wonderful thing to change, or not change, to evolve what a a woman in like that kind of idol space can be. She's so fun, she's so real, a little bit irreverent, but also at the same time, she's not like going against the system. She's just more like she's this really weird offshot of it. And then you have
Leilas is no,
there's
no slouch either. I was gonna say.
Well, I mean, if you consider her work with Yoasobi and the fact that she is the singer, obviously, therefore, on Idol as well as other songs, you could actually argue that she is the biggest thing in Japan, full stop, because I believe that Idol by Yoasobi is the best charting song in Japanese history, full stop. So, so the fact that Leilas, although she's one part of Yoasobi, she's the voice, she's the one that we're probably most familiar with. And she's a massive entity, but the fact they did this collaboration, they did it so much as two friends who wanted to work together, and it was the fact that they did two songs, and the two songs were complementary to each other, but they were like, one was what happens if Anno leads Leilas, and the other one was what happens if Leilas leads Anno. The two songs were totally different, but they worked as companion pieces. The music videos totally different, but they tie into each other subtly. I thought it was like such a fascinating project, and it was so filled with creativity and love, because we've talked a lot about collaborations where you felt like both artists came out and it's like, well, that was a good collaboration because we got a feel for both of them, but we weren't let down, but maybe it's too risky to try and pull the most out of each other. I feel like I mentioned about how Leave It All Behind brought the most out of the three people who went into that. I feel this was a great example of how to bring the most out of two people going into a collaboration.
Oh yeah, totally.
Yeah, I thought it was.
I would totally say that this should be the blueprint of how collaboration should be done going forward. I love the fact that they did two music videos connecting to each other subtly. I love that one took the lead on the one song, the other one took the lead on the other. I just feel like how we got two songs out of them as well and just everything that happened there. I just love that whole process of how they pulled that off and how they did it. It felt so authentic to me. Like you could just see that they're obviously really good friends as well, and that kind of like really shines through, that bubbly personality that you can tell that they're having fun. They're not trying to, even with their popularity, they weren't trying to aim for top of the charts here or trying to make the most money or anything. It was just like, hey, we're two friends. We want to make these songs as project, and we're gonna have fun doing it, and we don't give a fuck if it does well or not.
I mean, they got financed by that anime, didn't they? And they just jumped straight into it, which I think was like I think they kind of got the green light, and they were just like, yeah, all right,
yeah, fuck it, yeah, let's do it.
You need an opening and a closing theme. Let's do a 2-part collab.
Yeah, just how they structured that, for me, like if I was the producer doing like a collab with a band now, I'd be like, fuck it, yeah, let's copy there. Let's not do one song, let's do two, fucking bounce off each other.
I think I'd maybe add that I agree with you that in a way it's a blueprint for how you should do it, but I think it's a kind of a hard blueprint to follow, because in a way doing a 2-part collab requires that there has to be a certain thing about the two artists, and I think for them it was complementary. I mean, again, the Anno-led song did feel more like an Anno song, but for me, the reason why that works, I think some people might look at that and go, well, it's not really a collab. You're doing an Anno song and Leilas is singing it, and then you're doing a Leilas song. But genuinely, although the two songs were so wildly different, the Anno-led one, if that appeared on a Leilas album, I wouldn't be shocked. And the Leilas one, if that appeared as a ballad on Nano-led album, I wouldn't be shocked. It's like the two songs, you could tell who was leading them, but the collaboration really did feel like a collaboration. Both songs felt like the DNA of both of them was in it. It's like having a child who takes after one more parent more than the other, and then another child who takes after the other parent more than the other. It's more like that.
Yeah, no, I agree. I mean, you said before about like this being like the year of the collab. I also feel like it was the year of the EP a little bit as well.
You fucking legend. Love how you did that. That was beautiful. You get a job in radio with a segue like that.
I know. See what
ad reads next, don't you?
I know, right? I feel like that guy from Art Attack, and this is what we did.
And it's like, and well, you said this was a year of collaboration. We're talking about collaborating. We've collaborated with Raid Shadow Legends.
Oh no, like if we're ever gonna get sponsored, I want to do Manscaped. Like it's just so like people have to watch watch one of us like go to shave our balls at the beginning of every
Uh,
video.
I, I just want like most inappropriate stuff. I want like sort of like hearing aid companies or this kind of fucking
Uh,
fucking pensioner videos, but we only do
uh,
pensioner videos about pension homes every time it's like on a like a heavy metal video. Suspiciously, we always put them there. So I want to say
right. Like what would be like the most like absurd ad for a video that you could probably
I really
advertise?
want to do. I really want to do raid bug spray.
Really?
Raid bug spray.
Bug spray.
That's one that I really want to do.
Christ.
But yeah, EPs. I do think that. Well, I mean, I still believe it's better to call them mini albums. I did a whole video explaining why I do think a mini album has evolved from an EP and is now a different thing. But yeah, these mini albums basically releasing a short form album instead of releasing an album, or in the case of Trident, doing that and then releasing an album made of the mini albums. It's like the fucking Mothership album sucking up the mini album. So fuck's going on with you guys? But it's like, yeah, I think like you said, I think we are very much now in peak mini album territory. In fact, first announcement we've had about next year, 2025, is that Scandal will be releasing their first mini album. Will be coming out in, I think it's January of 2025. They've got a mini album coming out.
Damn, already
That
on
is
it.
the future.
It has seen a little bit of a resurgence. We've seen like Neki with theirs as well, which I thoroughly enjoyed and all that, by the way.
Exclamation, yeah,
Yeah,
amazing.
we got Hanabiya as well with their EP.
Michigiri Tokyo.
Yeah, it's there's quite a few that just off the top of my head. There's probably more if I actually did like any fucking research for jumping
Well, we
into
had
this.
Love Bites EP part 2.
Love Bites as well, yeah. EP part two. Like there's been so many. It really just has been like we have been blessed a little bit and in terms of like mini albums or EPs or whatever, you know.
Feast by Gatrick Spin.
Yeah.
Silent Siren had Youthful. What else have we had? Utaha's debut was an EP, wasn't it? So, yeah, that's a point. Obviously, was mentioned about Trident.
I can't believe Scandal are bringing out something so soon after Luminous, to be honest. That feels like it just released only yesterday, and then now we're getting a mini EP in January.
That was right at the beginning of this year that Luminous came out, but Luminous had the singles from Luminous, like was it Line of Sight? Yeah, Line of Sight was fucking forever before the album. I mean, like, they had was that first? I think it was first. They had like a really long lead time into that, so I get the feeling that they've been working on that a lot through 2023, and then by the time it arrived on 2024, I think that one has been in mostly done, at least mostly completed for a very long time. They did share a lot of social media videos of them in the studio at the time, actually. But yeah, I mean, again, though, that's the thing. When you got mini albums, the turnaround's quicker. You know, you can turn them around faster. And I think a band like Scandal, who are not, they're industry legends, but they're not at the peak of their relevancy as they used to be. I think now's a good time. You know, switch over to doing mini albums, keep yourself with something going on, give yourself the chance to like flip up and do something different regularly. You know, you pop out a couple a year if you want, rather than one album. Gives you a little bit more room to maneuver and change and add new ideas as you go. It does seem to be the future. It does seem to be the future.
For sure.
We talked about that a lot, haven't we? Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen a lot of bands come and go as well this year. Lots coming in out of
I'll just quickly mention. Sorry, by the way, I forgot to mention.
Yeah.
Obviously, one of the biggest mini albums, not that long out, is Koi Eye. Koi Eye was a big deal. Obviously, bringing together like Lisa X. You got a little bit of that NEMOPHILA vibe going on there. Waka Zaimon's actually got to be confirmed as a member, although she's now confirmed she's going on tour with Marty Freeman next year. But I'm assuming she left East of Eden, so I'm assuming she's going to pop up as an official member of Koi Eye at some point. But Koi Eye, obviously, absolutely fucking brilliant debut album, mini album. It's not the debut. It's the debut mini album of this lineup, but it feels like every time they release something, it's a debut mini album of them with, we're nearer to having a full lineup now. Here's a new member.
Here's a new member. East of Eden, that kind of upsets me a little bit because when they first started releasing some songs, like I was really impressed with like.
Did you hear the announcement today?
Oh no, I don't know. Oh, I haven't heard anything today. Go on.
Now I'm trying to get a name right because I always get it wrong, but it's Mina, the ex bassist from Girlfriend. She just
Oh,
Simon as the bassist of East of Eden. So sorry, I don't know if I cut out there, but
yeah, you
yeah.
cut
So
out for a second. Say that again.
okay. Mina, the who I think Mina's the name, the ex bassist of Girlfriend, who's worked with a lot of other people, including like Mike Shinoda since then.
Yeah.
She's now signed up to be the new bassist of East of Eden, replacing Wakazayamon, who I'm assuming is going to be going to Koi Eye because she's
Yeah.
been working so much with
Oh,
Koi
that's
Eye.
nice.
So yeah, they got fresh blood in there. But sorry, you were saying about East of Eden.
Yeah, yeah. East of Eden is just one of those bands, like I said, because they've been like in and out and people are doing different things. Like they were one of those projects when they first started for me. I was like, this has potential. And for one reason or another, like probably because there's loads of music moving parts and nothing was concrete, like it just hasn't kicked into next gear. And I'm just really waiting for them to just sort of like sort themselves out a little bit and then kind of like push on. Because
Yeah.
they had so much potential. Obviously, people leaving or already and stuff like that. It's never a good look. I hate that when a band gets announced, they release like two songs, and you're like, oh, this has potential. And then like the next announcement is, yeah, this person's joining this band. You're like, fuck.
But I think, I mean, sometimes that can be the sign of like a band who's going to always have like shifting sands and it's never going to work out. But sometimes it's a band just finding, it's like, okay, there was this one person in at the beginning. We've got to sort that out. They clearly weren't the right fit. Let's sort this out quickly and then we can get on our way. You hear that a lot. We've got bands who had like one member in for like the first album or something. They get shifted out and then everything was the same for like the next 15 years. I think a little bit obviously about the situation with, Hanabiya, they've released like their first two albums. Was it before the third one that Sire left, I think, before the third album? So I think the Bijigiri Tokyo and the last one were post Sire. I might have to double check that. Sorry, I got the timeline a bit confused. But so for example, I feel like that changed. Obviously, now the lineup of Hanabiya feels much more comfortable now, from at least from what we can see on the outside.
Yeah,
So
for sure, for sure.
I hope it's just one of those initial shifts that you have in the first couple of albums before the energy really picks up. Talking of changes, obviously, like NEMOPHILA.
Yeah, a lot of changes. A lot of changes.
Yeah, Saki went her own way. I think NEMOPHILA have never looked happier. I don't know if that's them putting on a face in the I don't know if they're putting on post-divorce dad face. So I'm great. Everything's good. We're gonna go to Disneyland every weekend. But they look
they look happier. They seem like they're doing it. It seems to really that situation seems to have worked out well for both of them. I feel like Saki's really kind of upped their
right.
game with her solo stuff. I can't compliment her enough. I know that's probably not what NEMOPHILA fans want to hear. Complimenting Saki going off and doing her own stuff, but I just want to highlight how freaking hard it is to be like a solo guitarist and an instrumentalist, like to make that stick. Is
It
harder
does
than
feel like that's what she wanted, though. I mean, you can tell, like from everything I've heard subsequently, it seems like she was like releasing music and ideas beforehand, and this seemed to be
yeah.
like what she always really wanted to
It
do.
definitely feels like NEMOPHILA was going one way and she was the way her writing style was
Okay,
going the other. I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be 100% surprised if we don't hear something from Saki either releasing some new stuff or her probably maybe joining a project or creating her own project, her own band.
well,
Possibly.
she had a couple of solo songs come out. She had those like a solo EP. I think she's had like three or four. Someone was
Yeah,
telling me about this.
some of them are bangers as well. Absolutely incredible.
Yeah. I mean, look, I'm the sort of person, me, like if someone says, look, here's a song and the idea in this project is it's guitar solos take lead, I'm kind of like one of those people, I'm like, it doesn't sound like the recipe for me being happy. But like the couple I heard from her, I was like, wow, that's actually like, that's a proper song. It's not just guitar. It's like the guitar leads it, but it's like really good arrangements. But then again, I think NEMOPHILA of like, just, they sound more free. I've said this before. I think sometimes a heavy band with only one guitar is better because the one guitar has more presence, it has more maneuverability, it has more impact.
I'm torn a little bit between them going from a 5-piece to a 4-piece. Torn because I still think they sound really good. I agree with you. They definitely sound like they have like more of a coherent sound and direction in which they're going, and it sounds like all the girls are getting on, and it flows really nicely. But I'm also kind of gutted a little bit because again, Psyche is Psyche, and like her contribution, her solos, it does like Nemo do miss that spark of creativity, that little bit of something different in their songs. Because that's the one.
It's early. It's early.
It's early. It's early. But I feel like it's already missing a little bit. It's like trying to take like Miyako out of Love Bites. Like
Nah, see, I know.
Midori and all that could still do it, and it would still be Love Bites, but you'd miss that like
No, I actually
Miyako
don't think.
influence.
I think that's a great comparison, but I actually don't think that. I actually think the opposite, and I'll tell you for why. Because like I think I did briefly bring this up. Is I think the Love Bites thing. I mean, again, either one of those guitarists would be fine on their own, but the whole Love Bites song structure very much works on that idea of dueling guitars, like guitars playing an octave from each other harmonically. It's very much built on that, but that comes up much less in NEMOPHILA songs, in my opinion. And I think that was proven. I mean, yeah, it's just one song, but when they redid Style, and do you know what? Yeah, it did lose some of the nuances, but it felt better because it felt more roomy. Like the guitar in most parts felt the same, because in most of the parts it was dueling anyway, which that happened a lot with NEMOPHILA. But in the parts where it did split, instead it just felt a little bit more airy. The guitar, like it felt it had more room to breathe.
Yeah, I agree. I agree.
Actually,
it sounds good.
I can't help but feel like the writing style of NEMOPHILA never required two guitarists. So it's like they felt like they found something for two guitarists to do, but it never felt like the songs required two guitarists.
I'll change what I said then. Maybe not required artist, but it definitely misses her musicianship, her flair, I think, which when you see her solo stuff, it's there in abundance. And you'd be like, if you were any band in the world and you saw her rocking as her solo stuff and you had room to fit another guitarist in your band, you'd be stupid not to look at her and go, "Hey, you interested? Enjoy it?"
Exactly, yeah.
You interested in enjoying the band? Like I feel like any band, like 99.9% of the bands in the world would snap their hands off to have her included in there. She's up there for me personally, solo, like with the likes of like Slash, like these iconic guitarists that can hold their own, win their own careers.
Shall I piss people off by saying I literally can't think of a single Slash song? Which band was Slash in?
He was he became famous in Guns N' Roses.
Yeah, Guns N' Roses. I know a couple of Guns N' Roses songs, but I can't like pinpoint a solo and go, that's what Slash sounds like. I just know he's more of a pop culture meme, isn't he?
Really? Jesus Christ, you need to listen to some of Guns N' Roses, man. Jesus fucking Christ.
Yeah, no, I remember that Guns N' Roses was never huge about the thing, but yeah, it's not.
Going back, he's made a career off being a solo guitarist, and I would say Takeyoshi Omura as well is
there we go.
Is that very very sexy man. Yeah, you knew that was coming.
Right. But before you start to build up a little bit too much of a sweat, because I don't want you to
my man, my man.
You better time this explosion. So we got like 2 minutes left on the free version.
Oh shit! Is that like 2 minutes? All right. Well, we'll be back for a part two then. Yeah, we'll be back for part two. I feel like we've got way more to talk about. So hopefully, you guys are getting treated today. You're getting a two-parter.
It's like Guantanamo Bay. It's like, well, we got an extra bucket of water. You're being treated today.
You're being doused.
Look, it's Rebecca Black's Friday on repeat play. You're being treated today. Oh, that's a throwback, isn't it? All right. Yeah. Anyway, so what we'll do then
is for that.
Permanent state of being for both of us. That's what it should be. No, I'm happy. Japanese. That's one of the things. Japanese music and the music scene actually makes you feel so young because it's so refreshing and exciting all the time. But we got a minute left, so we're going to wrap this one up now, and we're going to go and record a part two, which I'll make sure comes out. I don't know, maybe I'll put it out 24 hours later, so you can enjoy them 24 hours apart. See what magical things we have to talk about for the rest of this year, 2024. And yeah, just from me and Neon, remember to like, subscribe, share this with friends as well.
Yeah, share it about. Like, we want to see more people get like hold of Ear to These. I want to see it on Twitter. I want to see it shared. Like that's one thing we never ask you to do. But for the Christmas holidays, for the present from us, please spread Ear to These. Getting out all this Discord, all sorts.
We love the regulars, but by the same point, our subscribers.
We need more people
forever. Yeah. So anyway, remember to keep your ears
to go east.
We got a couple of seconds. Just hold it.
Do you hear sleigh bells?
No, I don't.
When's this ending?
It's getting awkward. I think we've got 5 seconds. Just you hang out. It's all good.